My name is Fiorella Di Cindio. I am professor at the University of Milano, where I am also director of the Civic Informatics Laboratory. I teach software development and so a course of software engineering, and also social interaction environments. Both are in the degree of informatics.
Okay, and could you talk about your involvement in community informatics?
Sorry?
In community informatics,
okay.
in terms of your work, in terms of your academic work.
Yeah, I started working on civic participation and civic and community networks, and this is since '94, and since then my main activities around these issues, which are we could say they are included within community informatics. What in particular I try to do is to set up online environment for enhancing the communication channels between the citizen, the members of the local community. A city is a local community, of course, and city administrators. And this is the main issue of my research since 18 years.
And in terms of the specific approach to system design and development and implementation, how would you see, is there anything, how would you see community informatics in that context? Can you talk about the, kind of from a systems development point of view?
Yeah, all the system or the online sites that we develop with the goal I mentioned before are, of course, a special kind of socio-technical system. This means that it is necessary to design both the social structure and the technical structure of the system.
Go ahead.
Okay, of the system that we are developing. And along the years, I have developed a kind of framework in order to guide, to give guidelines to people who has to set up these websites for participation, so that they are they have directions in the design of this environment. And the guidelines are both on the social structure and on technologies.
And how would you fit? How would you locate, say, the approach that you're talking about within the broad area of information systems development? Is it the mainstream? Is it a specific form? Is it how would you describe that?
Oh, this is I don't know whether I am able to answer precisely to your question. I often let me try to answer you through a metaphor, and maybe then you can help me to understand how my approach fits into the general framework of information system design. The metaphor I often use is due to Terry Winograd, who points out that software development is like architecture, in the sense that we set up environments that are online environment, are digital environment, but quite similar to the physical environment that architects design. And in the digital environment we design, people has to live or work. So what we really do, and this is a metaphor that I found very useful for people, for my students, is that we have to provide fair fine environment in which the people are, so to say, happy to stay. And in order to do this, you have to consider several dimensions which concern both the so we could say the informal rules and the formal rules, which keep people together in these environments, and of course also the technology. That is quite important, in my opinion, to emphasize that while quite often people start by choosing a technology, so let's take a blog, let's take a forum, let's take a wiki, in my opinion it's very important to put the social structure first, and only after try to figure out which kind of technology is good for that environment.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the design, that's the in terms of the process of the design. Are there any? How would the process of design, say for your online environments, differ from that might be done in a business environment?
I stress very much, this is probably not only for the kind of system we develop, but for us it's very, very important to have a iterative process, because we design a system that has to be used by generic citizens, and it's very difficult to involve them in advance in the design. This is also the case if the social actors are city member of the city government. And because of this, in some cases, we as designers are responsible of anticipating in some way their needs, but then we have to check to understand if this if the result of our design fits with their needs, and so we have really to iterate the process. There is a picture in the paper that Tim Berners-Lee and some colleagues have published in Communication of the RCM, if I remember correctly, is July 2008, in which they claim that the web challenged software development with new requirement, with new need. They say that the software development, the system development has to go ahead through trials and refinements. The system we develop are kind of so to say social experiments, and like the scientists of empiric of physical disciplines, natural disciplines, we have to observe the outcome of these experiments, and in order to improve the experiment and also the theory of what we do. So also the theory of community informatics, or the more narrow field that I would claim is something like online deliberation.
And in terms of, I guess what you're saying then is that the gap that usually exists, say, in the systems development activity between system design and system implementation, what you're saying is that in the approach that you're discussing, those are very much intertwined, that they really aren't two separate processes. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's mean because of the of our experience that I recently more and more approach the concept of agile development. At the beginning, really, I was not aware of this approach, but then I realized that it's very helpful for the kind of development we have to do to consider this kind of software, I would not say methodology, but really is a kind of approach which claim for very frequent delivery of software rather than a long process which start from analysis and then design and then implementation. Agile approach suggested to iterate very frequently, to deliver software very frequently. In this way, you have this, so to say, old phases of the software process. They become activities which are within a shorter time, and they are so. As you said before, there are still differences between analysis, design, and implementation, but much more close one to the other. And in this way, it's much easier to get feedback from users.
Okay, thank you. This is Mike Gerstein. I've been talking to Fiorella Di Cindio, who's currently in Milan, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.